Hi, guys. Welcome to Cryptids Canada. I hope everybody is having a great day. Oh, and by the way, Happy New Year's Eve. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening tonight. Stay warm and stay dry. And most importantly, stay safe. Okay, so this one is titled Lights and Creatures. Hi, Leslie. I heard you say you were looking for some stories, so I thought I would write in again and see how it goes. Thanks for all the good readings about Bigfoot, ghosts, fairies, and dogmen. They're really keeping me going. I'm learning a lot and I love to listen as I knit. Hope you like this one. I was living in Edmonton in a very old high-rise apartment building while I went to school for massage therapy. I was on the very top floor and had an amazing view of the western sky, which was beautiful at night if you could get past the city noises. This was close to 10 years ago that these experiences occurred over the time span of a year. I had a few experiences that were quite spooky. While in massage school, we were taught that everything is energy and that we would have to learn to understand our own energy and get control of it if we were going to be laying our hands on others in a healing manner. Well, I had an experience with some energy, and I don't know if it was mine or something else. This school was not the typical sterile massage training school. The teachers were all New Age type. It was interesting, to say the least, and I did learn a lot. After a few months, I was really getting good at my technique, although practicum was exhausting and very painful. There was one day where I thought if I could just push down on the pain enough or dissolve it somehow and get through my last client, I would be okay. My arms and hands and my back were killing me as I was getting used to working those muscles, and it was hard work. My clients came into the room and hopped up on the table. We went over her paperwork, and I left the room so she could change and prepare for her massage. After 1 or 2 minutes, I knocked on the door and went inside. I began by warming up her back and shoulders, and I thought I was going to die because I was in so much pain. After managing to work on her for half an hour, I had her flip face up to work on her neck and place my hands under her shoulders, and right where I did this, a yellow ball of light shot out of my wrist. Then a glowing green one. I wasn't sure what was happening, but I didn't want to scare my client, so I pretended I didn't see anything and I kept working. Thank goodness her eyes were shut. The glowing light balls moved fast and disappeared. As the time of the massage was coming to an end, I looked up and noticed a green ball floating in one spot just above my head. It must have known the time was up on the clock because it disappeared when I finished the massage and told the lady I would meet her at the front desk when she was ready. Maybe it had something to do with her. That night, when I went back to my apartment, I had parked in the stall and gone inside towards the elevator. I was practically running so I could dodge the repair guy who was always hanging around the lobby. He was creepy and didn't want to get caught in the elevator with him at any time. Once I came home to my bedroom doorknob almost broken off and one of my glass perfume bottles broken, and I know it was him messing around in my suite when I wasn't home. I would take the closet door off its rails and jam it against the front door at night so no one could break in. The repair guy, for sure. He has access keys to all the suites, and that wasn't a good feeling. I don't know why they kept him around after I called to tell them that he was messing around in my suite. No proof, I guess. So that night I went to bed after crying in pain over my arm like a big baby, when suddenly I felt the energy shift in my bedroom. I sat up and I saw something out my window. I was wondering what in the hell it could be because my bedroom window peered out onto the balcony. But first my thought was creepy repair guy and I didn't have a gun on me. Second thought was that I was on the top of a high-rise building. I was on my balcony that evening and I was all alone and always checked my closets for weirdos as soon as I got home from anywhere. In the past, people have died falling off of balconies, of this building in particular. So I don't think anyone could have jumped from one balcony to the next without getting killed. So I sat in my bed and I swung my legs over the side and sat looking out the window. And all I could see was this black or gray humanoid thing with its hands on the glass, moving its head around looking for a way to get inside. It was moving weird. I don't remember being afraid. I just remember thinking how weird it was, and I started praying because I knew what would scare whatever it was away, and it did. I don't know why I was easily able to go to sleep that night. Maybe it was because I was burnt out or thought that there was no way that this thing could get in. The stranger part is that I didn't even think to call the police. Maybe because I knew it wasn't human and they wouldn't believe me anyhow. So the next morning I got up and went to school. I was thinking about my experience all day and decided I would pick up some serious incense to ward this thing off and whatever else was going on with me. Glowing balls shooting out of my arms and creatures on my balcony, that was enough for me. So I picked up some dragon's blood and some frankincense and went home. That night I was getting ready for bed and I had my incense handy, had a shower, got the PJs on and sat on the side of my bed to brush my hair when suddenly I felt the creeps. That feeling when you think your ankles are about to get grabbed from under your bed. Oh yeah, I definitely know that feeling because it's happened to me every single night when I was a kid. But anyways, so I crunched up onto the top of my bed and I reached over to my desk for the incense. The air in the room got heavy and I was becoming actually kind of mad because I didn't want to have to deal with this BS. I had had enough going on and I was tired. I lit the incense and jumped off my bed to get the little SOB. I quickly got down to look under my bed and I didn't see anything. So I waved my incense stick underneath it and to my surprise, a glowing ball came shooting out from under my bed and headed straight for me. I jumped up and I waved my incense around some more so it would get the point, and it disappeared. I don't know if it was the same kind of ball that came out of my arm, but it was also green, and I don't know what it was doing or why it was under my bed. What do you think could have been going on? I still don't know, but that creature was either a demon, an alien, or both. I don't know what. I couldn't see its features, but it wasn't a human. I have other spooky stories from that apartment, and I can share them at a later time. Hope you have a Merry Christmas, Leslie. Warmly, Jessie. Well, I would venture to say you got something weird going on, definitely. It's definitely way out of my league, Jessie, I have to be honest with you. I have heard of these colored balls or orbs in association with Bigfoot, but I'm not really sure because it doesn't seem like that in your situation. Maybe you're creating a negative energy because you're tired or you're in pain. I'm really not sure. Maybe somebody in the comment section can shed some light on it and give us their 2 cents. That would be really great. Yeah, I'm really sorry I couldn't be more help, Jessie. All right, guys, I think I have time to read another one. Okay, guys, I'm going to apologize ahead of time if I say this wrong, but it's titled The Wolf of Pennsyltucky. Okay, it starts off. First of all, I just want to say that I love your channel. Keep up the awesome work. I live in Eastern Kentucky. Growing up, my whole family lived relatively close and spent time with each other as often as we could. One of the unusual hangout places for us young guns was an old barn up in the holler. Here we'd play freeze tag or make short horror movies and just enjoy being with each other out in the woods. I want to say I was maybe 9 or 10 when we caught a television program about Bigfoot encounters. In the show, they mentioned the whoops and screams Bigfoot is believed to make. I can't remember the name of the program, but the recording they played left an impression on us kids. In fact, I believe the recording can actually be found on YouTube. Years passed by, and by this time I was in high school, and the usual hangout spot was still that old barn. One day, after shooting the breeze for about an hour, we heard a sound coming from up in the mountains. It was a long screech or howl from something that sounded a lot like the recordings we'd heard years before. We all froze as the sound continued for about 5 minutes. To this day, neither of us has ever heard anything like that since then. I don't know what to make of those sounds. When stories of Bigfoot come about, I can't say I've experienced much of anything, coming from Kentucky. I've spent my life in the hills and haven't seen any sign of such creature. However, I can't fully dismiss it. The sound we heard that day are unlike anything I've ever heard before. It didn't sound like any animal around here, including mountain lions. Authorities say they're not here, but I have seen them. Another rant for another day. It also didn't sound like any piece of mining or construction equipment, but this time the mining companies had cleared out and left no more machines behind. No, whatever this was sounded like some animal that had to have an absolutely incredible set of lungs. Eventually, I'll go back to that location and make a video. But thank you for taking the time to read everyone's encounters and for sharing some awesome stories. Merry Christmas, Mr. Ackerman. I'm leaving out your first name because I know I'll butcher it. I'm sorry about that. But when I was reading your story, and by the way, you're very, very well written, I was imagining, a bunch of kids hanging out, like 11, 12-year-old kids sitting in a barn. And it just brought back so many memories. I was a wee bit confused, though, because, the title said The Wolf, and then you spoke of the Bigfoot show. So I was just a little bit confused at, whether you thought it was a wolf or a Bigfoot. But regardless, I thought it was really, really cool, brought back some nice memories. And obviously you guys thought it was something because you're talking about it, quite a long time later, right? Or that's the feeling that I got. So anyways, guys, I think I have time for another one. Okay, this one is titled My Husband's Bigfoot Stories. And this is from Tammy, who has sent in stories to us before. But I cannot for the life of me remember what episodes they were. So Tammy, if you're listening, maybe you could put it in the comment section so people can go back and, read your other story. Okay, guys, she just titles this My Husband's Bigfoot Stories. Hello, my beautiful friend. I've decided to tell you about the experiences of my significant other. I am very lucky and thankful that he is a believer, knower, and encourages my interest in our big hairy friend. We both grew up in the same small town, and even though we didn't really spend much time together till later on in life, we shared many of the same friends and interests in the outdoors. The first time he had ever brought up Bigfoot was while telling me of the strange screams he had heard while camping with mutual friends of ours. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "You're going to think I'm crazy, but I know that it was a Bigfoot." Funny thing is, he was camping in the exact spot that I had spent so many weekends at during my youth. He had also come across tracks in the snow while hiking with a city friend of ours. That hike was cut short due to the fact that his hiking companion refused to go any further and demanded to head back to civilization. His first encounter was, by far, his most haunting. As a child, his family would go often into the desert to ride dirt bikes. This particular time, they had camped with a large group of friends. Sunday morning, as they were all readying for their last ride before heading home, they were surprised by what my husband described as a big, hairy monster walking on 2 legs past the camp. Those who witnessed it, which included my husband, quickly convinced everyone to get their bikes and see if they could find it. Unfortunately, the creature was far too fast or too smart, and the group never caught up with it. My husband, while telling the story, reenacts how the creature walked. For some reason, watching him walk like that gives me goosebumps. It's as if I've seen that very walk before. That's it for now. I'll write you again soon with the stories I've only told my 14-year-old. He's convinced me that I need to let go and start telling this to ease my mind. God bless you, Leslie, and thank you for being there for all of us. You're not only a storyteller, but a therapist. Signed, Tammy. Oh, you brought tears to my eyes. That was the sweetest thing. Thank you, Tammy. That was so nice of you to send in yet another story. I greatly appreciate it. You're like one of the very lucky, maybe the very lucky, who have had encounter after encounter after encounter. So, anyways, guys, I believe I've kept you long enough today. Please have a wonderful New Year's Eve and be safe. First and foremost, be safe. And then I hope to see you back here in a couple of days. Bye-bye for now.